This is Barbara Kaplan once again, and this is the Over 50 Fair. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday with us. Thank you again for joining us. This year's virtual event is a charity conference benefiting the Inn. We are pleased to announce that we were just voted, so we're Best of the North Shore, Best Annual Event or Festival 2020 by Blank Slate Media. Thank you for your votes and for your support. Next up, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Howard Newman of Jokesercise as our next speaker. Howard has been a staple of the Over 50 Fair for many years to the delight of our audiences. High-powered Howard has headlined nationally on the comedy club circuit for over 15 years and performed regularly at Caroline's, Stand Up New York, and The Funny Bone, and has appeared on MTV and Comedy Central. Howard specializes in 50 and over entertainment in a variety of venues. I will also put Howard's contact information into the chat. Please welcome Howard Newman and his Jokesercise comedy show.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I do shows at over 100 senior centers, assisted livings. I do a lot of senior entertainments, but I also do regular entertainment in the comedy club. So nice to be here. I'm so glad you got past all these hard times. I had a rough time during the pandemic. Yeah, I got very lazy. I was eating a lot, but I maintained my social distance. Yes, I kept 6 feet away from my treadmill. It's true. I notice everything nowadays is an abbreviation. Nobody's using full words anymore. I could prove it. Today I went in my SUV, I went to CVS to buy some DVDs and CDs. They ran out. They said they sent it to the UPS COD. I'm driving home. I see I'm driving crazy. I call NYPD. Some guy was DUI. I was hungry, went to KFC. That made me sick. I went to the ER. They gave me CPR, EKG, MRI. Good thing I had an HMO. It's all abbreviations. It's crazy like that. I'm trying to find new hobbies to occupy my time during this pandemic. I try my new hobby, jigsaw puzzles. Anybody do a jigsaw? I'm so proud of myself. Today I finished a jigsaw puzzle in just 3 hours. I was especially proud of myself when I looked at the box. It said 3 to 5 years. Yeah, must have been the age. Yeah, I'm doing other activities. They have karaoke on Skype. They have karaoke. Imagine that. They had 70s disco karaoke. You think I'd be very good at that because I'm up here telling jokes. But at first I was afraid. I was petrified. You know, I'm trying to find jobs. Actually, I'm trying to find different jobs to do. There's a lot of jobs. A lot of comedy jobs. Not a lot of jobs right now. Yeah, it's true. I got offered a job at a shoe store, curbside shoe store. I started yesterday. After it didn't work out, after 1 hour, they gave me the boot at the shoe store. I'm trying other jobs too. It's true, other jobs. There's jobs in manufacturing. I got offered a high-paying job making pianos. They told me I'd be making $1,000 a week. Imagine that. Yeah, that job didn't work out too good either. My uncle was a tailor at Barney's. Remember Barney's department store? So he taught me the skills to be a tailor. So I started working at the dry cleaner. I came home from work. My girlfriend said, "How was your first day as a tailor?" I said, "So-so." I've been watching a lot of television. I love the History Channel. They have a lot of nice biographies on there. The other day they had the biography on Beethoven. I thought I knew everything there was to know about Beethoven. My mom was a music teacher. But I found out something I didn't know. I found out Beethoven had a mistress, and she was the reason behind the famous Fifth Symphony. It's true. She said, "Beethoven, I'm leaving you." He says, "Please don't leave me. Give me some reassurance that you're staying." She said, "Ha, ha, ha, ha." It's one of his big hits. So I spent some time talking to my girlfriend last night. We were talking about stuff that you never spoke about before. Yeah, I asked her, "Honey, we never spoke about what kind of music you like." She said, "I like classical music." 1600 to 1750. Bach, Handel, that harpsichord stuff. I said, that's so interesting. She said, maybe when this is all over, you'd take me to a concert in Carnegie Hall. I says, I can't do that. She says, why not? I said, because I'm Baroque. It's crazy. This isn't the first time we had trouble in New York. 6 years ago, we had Hurricane Sandy. Remember Hurricane Sandy? I was living in Far Rockaway. My chimney blew off my house. Imagine, my chimney blew off my house. 2 guys came and delivered a new chimney the next week. They brought a bill for $1,000. I said, wait a second, this is a mistake. When the salesman at Home Depot sold me the chimney, he promised me it was going to be on the house. I came all the way here from Hollis, Queens. I live in Hollis, Queens. I live in a 7-story apartment building. The buildings face each other. If I look hard enough, I could see in my neighbor's window. I saw my neighbor this morning. I said, listen, I'm not a peeping Tom, but last night you left your window open. And all night, I was able to watch you have relations with your wife. He says, what are you talking about? I wasn't even home last night. I went to McDonald's. They're open now. You can walk in the store. I went to McDonald's. I got an Egg McMuffin. It came with a scratch-off game. I scratched it off. I couldn't believe it. I won a motorhome. I'm high-fiving everyone. I won a motorhome, motorhome, motorhome. I went to the cashier. So how do I cash in on this motorhome? She says, you idiot. It says win a bagel. Type of motorhome. There was a knock on my door this morning. One of my neighbors. I says, listen, I'm not really opening the door for anybody. I said, what do you want? He says, I was wondering if you had a screwdriver. I said, listen, I don't even have any vodka. Yeah, there's been a real cavalry of people, cavalcade of people coming to my house this morning, my apartment. There's another knock on my door. My landlord said, Howard Newman. I said, that's me. He says, have you lost anybody during the pandemic? I said, actually did lose one person. He says, I'm so sorry. I was wondering, do you believe in the hereafter? I says, I certainly do. He says, great. I'm here after the rent. It's tough out there, I tell you. Yeah, so I went to my eye doctor. These glasses aren't strong enough. I went to see my eye doctor. He's open. I saw the receptionist. I said, lady, please help me. I really, really need to see the eye doctor. She says, you certainly do. This is the ladies' room. Get it. I had a great job this summer. Yeah, I did have a real good job. I was working, great job for a comedian. I was working at the beach selling good humor. Imagine that as a comedian. So I have an 18-year-old daughter. She don't come around much. She came over the other day. I said, honey, I got bad news. Yeah, bad news. I'm so sorry. You're 18. You're not going to college. I don't have to pay child support. Take this check to your mother. Tell her it's the last dime you're ever getting from me. Come back later. Let me know what your mother said. She came back later. What did your mother say? She said you ain't the father. It's tough out there. Yeah, so yes, I'm doing comedy for many years. I worked every place. Before the pandemic, I was working in the Poconos. Have you been to the Mount Airy Lodge? It's really nice there. They have gambling and everything. In fact, the towels in the room were so fluffy, I couldn't even close my suitcase. Yeah, stole them. I worked everywhere. I was in Florida. I was at the Epcot Center. You know the Epcot Center. I had a great show there, except I got arrested at the airport on the way home. Yeah, I saw my friend at the gate. I yelled out, hijack. You can't say hijack at the airport anymore. I don't know why, but Florida was very interesting. The food choices in Florida are different than in New York. They had meat patties, chicken patties, and they also had alligator patties. Imagine that. Alligator. I wanted to try one. I walked in the store that was selling that. I said, listen, I'm in a rush. Give me an alligator patty and make it snappy. The alligator patty. Yeah, so I went on those fishing boats. You're allowed on those fishing boats now. And I actually caught a fish. Imagine. The very first time I went fishing, I caught a fish. Everybody told me it was a fluke. So Halloween is coming. I'm not sure if they're canceling it. Last year, for Halloween, I got dressed as a butcher. I wore a white smock. I got a red magic marker. I put some blood stains on. I looked like a real butcher. Everybody was very impressed. But they were more impressed with my date. I came with a very beautiful woman. They said, hey, Howard the butcher, introduce me to your date. I said, no problem. Meet Patty. See, I was a butcher. Yeah, she came dressed as Snow White. You remember Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? She looked very authentic. All night she was taking selfies of herself. On the way home, she says, Howard, let's go to the 1 hour photo. I want copies of my pictures. When we got there, the owner says, I'm sorry, Snow White. We're getting ready to close. She said, but I need my pictures. When can I get my pictures? He said, Sunday your prince will come. Sunday your prince. My 9-year-old nephew asked me last week, hey, Uncle Howie, what are you getting me for Halloween this year? I said, there's no presents for Halloween. He says, come on, Howard, I'm 9. I'm old enough to have a pet spider. I said, no problem. I went to the pet store. How much for a pet spider? The guy said, $50. I said, $50 for a pet spider? I said, never mind. I'll get it cheaper on the web. I called my doctor this morning. He says, Howard, what's the problem? I said, listen, doctor, I have a big show today at the Over 50 Fair. Doctor, you got to help me. I think I'm coming down with something. He said, Howard, I heard your jokes. You need to come up with something. That wasn't very cool. It's crazy. You know, every day I wake up with a terrible headache. I called my doctor. He says, Howard, do you sleep with the windows open or closed? I said, I have my air conditioner on. I sleep with the windows closed. He says, leave them open. Let the fresh air come in. You won't wake up with a headache. Call me tomorrow. I called him the next day. I said, Howard, how's your headache? I said, my headache's gone. So's my wallet, my phone, and my TV. I'm worried about my health. Yes, I went to see the X-ray technician. I wanted to get a chest X-ray. When I saw the technician, she was beautiful. I said, honey, listen, when this thing is over, let's go out. She says, I'm not really interested. I said, take my business card. If you change your mind, give me a call. She called me last night. Imagine. The X-ray technician called me last night. I said, what made you change your mind? She told me that she saw something in me. The X-ray technician. Crazy. I just remember last Halloween was a bad time for me. When I had my date who went as Snow White on the way home, she lives in Amityville, near that Amityville horror house. We were going to her house. I just dropped her off. All of a sudden, I heard a clanging noise behind me. Right in front of that haunted house, there was a 6-foot red oak casket, opening and closing, opening and closing. We're running as fast as we can, and the casket is chasing after us. Imagine, on Halloween night, opening and closing. We ran into a house. We locked the bathroom door. The casket bust right through the bathroom door. We didn't know what to do. We were sure goners. I opened the medicine cabinet looking for a weapon. All I could find is a bottle of Robitussin. I threw it at the casket, and just like that, the coughing stopped. The Robitussin. So, as I said, I'm trying to find someone I knew. I went on Match.com. I met a nice lady. Yeah, I said, you look very nice. She said, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a comedian. She says, I'm sorry. I got a policy. I won't date a comedian. I said, come to my show. I know you'll change your mind. She came to the show. After the show, she came running to me. I could definitely date you now. I said, what made you change your mind? She says, I just saw your show. You're no comedian. It's tough out there. I went to Dunkin' Donuts this morning. When I got there was a very attractive lady behind the counter drinking coffee and a donut. I got coffee and a donut. I went over to her. I said, "Excuse me, miss. I know it's very lonely times. Would you like a little company?" She says, "What? You got one to sell?" Been watching a lot of TV during the pandemic. I love those biblical movies. They had 10 Commandments on the other day. Have you seen 10 Commandments? I must have seen that movie 20 times. I learned something new this last time. Yeah, I found out that Moses had a lot of people working for him. It's true. Moses had a lot of people working for him. Yeah, he had a very big staff. I miss going to the real movies. Yeah, the real movies. They're opening up soon, social distance. That's what I heard. I remember the last time I went to the movies, I was very upset. I don't know about you guys, I hate when people are talking when the movie's going on. There was these two ladies talking in front of me. I leaned forward. "Excuse me, ladies, I can't hear." She says, "You're not supposed to. There's a private conversation." Then I'm watching the movie. A lady 5 seats over stands up in the middle of the movie, walks past me, steps on my toes. Ouch. She goes to the concession stand. She comes back with ice cream in one hand, popcorn in the other. She said, "Excuse me, sir, did I just step on your toes?" I said, "You certainly did." She said, "Oh, great, I must be in the right row." You know, I've opened for some big stars in the past. It's true. I remember 10 years ago, I opened for Ben E. King. Remember Ben E. King? I should have taken a picture with him so everybody knows I work with him, but he wouldn't. Stand by me. You know that song. It was strange. A woman came over to me after the show the other night. Yeah. She said, "You shouldn't be doing comedy." I said, "What are you talking about?" She says, "You should be selling fabric on eBay." I said, "What?" "Yeah, you should be selling fabric on eBay." I said, "Why would you say that?" She said, "Because you have so much material." Yeah, people come over the show all the time. I did a show the other day right in a hotel near LaGuardia Airport. After the show, a woman came over to me after. I said, "What do you do for a living?" She says, "I fly planes for American Airlines." I said, "That's so interesting. We really hit it off great." Went back to her hotel. I felt so great about myself in the morning. Finally, after 30 years of doing comedy, I finally got a pilot. Different kind of pilot. I know. Every day I start the day the same way. I walk 1 block to my local deli. I get scrambled eggs with cheese on a bagel with ketchup every day for 30 years. Scrambled eggs with cheese on a bagel with ketchup. Today, I bought it at the deli across the street. The guy from the bagel store saw me. He was furious. "How could you betray me like this? For 30 years, I'm making you scrambled eggs with cheese on a bagel with ketchup. Today, I saw you buy it at the deli across the street. How could you do this to me?" I said, "Calm down, Mr. Dentist." He says, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Yesterday, I went to the dentist. He told me to start eating on the other side." And I did. You know, I've been having a lot of trouble with my cell phone. I'm having trouble understanding people when they're on the speaker. I went to the Verizon store yesterday. I showed her my phone. She says, "Sir, there's nothing wrong with your phone. It must be you." She says, "How's your hearing?" I said, "My hearing is next week." How did you know about that? That's crazy. Everybody's always on the cell phone. Yesterday, there was a man on the Long Island Railroad talking on the phone while he's at the edge of the platform. The phone fell onto the tracks. He went to grab it. The train came by and cut off his arm at the elbow. Luckily, there was a policeman there. He grabbed the missing limb. He put it in a shopping bag while he was tending to the injured man. All of a sudden, a homeless man came out of nowhere, grabbed the shopping bag, and started running away with it. Luckily, the policeman caught up with him and charged him with armed robbery. It's crazy. I hope you guys are having a nice time. I certainly am. Yeah, I was watching Good Morning America the other day. They had Bruce Willis on there. You know Bruce Willis, the movie star? They asked Bruce Willis, how you doing during the pandemic? He says, thank God there's baseball I could watch. He says, really? Bruce Willis, who's your favorite baseball team? He said he's a die-hard Yankee fan. Die-hard. They all said Whoopi Goldberg on Good Morning America. They asked her, how you doing during the pandemic? She says, not too good. My partner just broke up with me. They said, that's terrible. Why would your partner leave you? You're such a successful woman. She said, my partner told me that they were getting tired of the view. I'm worried about my future. I want to see a fortune teller. Yes, I got good news. She told me that money was coming my way. Really? She told me that money was coming my way. She was right. Last night, I got hit by a Brinks Army truck. Yeah, money's coming my way, I guess. I don't know. As I said, I'm watching a lot of television. I love those mysteries. Yeah, those murder mysteries. The other day, they had a lawyer. He called his client who was accused of murder. He said, I have good news and bad news. The man accused of murder says, what's the bad news? He says, your blood test just came back, and your DNA is an exact match for the woman who was murdered last Tuesday. He says, wow, that is bad news. What's the good news? He says, your cholesterol is down to 140. So I really do want to get back with my ex-girlfriend. I really do. I said, let's have a talk somewhere. She said, really? Where do you want to have this talk? I said, Baskin Robbins. She said, why Baskin Robbins? I said, because we have a rocky road ahead of us. Yeah, there's been a lot of losses during this pandemic. We lost the owner of my local movie theater. Imagine that. He passed away 2 days ago. The owner of my local movie theater. His services will be held at 1:15, 3:15, 5:15, and 7:15. Yeah, those are movie times, I know. It's crazy. Yes, as a comedian, my natural progression is to be an actor. I want to be an actor like Jerry Seinfeld, Kevin James. I finally got my acting break today at the Delicatessen. Imagine that. I got my acting break today at the Delicatessen. Yeah, the guy behind the counter gave me a role. I got a role, my big acting break. Yeah, I got a break the other day also. I got a break the other day at the dentist office. Imagine, you go to the dentist, they put that plastic piece in your mouth, they put that lead apron, and they leave the room to take the picture. So when he went to take the picture, I took off the lead apron. So finally, after 30 years of doing comedy, I finally got some exposure. School started this week. A mother wakes up her daughter. It's time to go to school. She says, I don't want to go to school. Time to go. I don't want to go to school. The teachers hate me. The kids hate me. Give me one reason why I have to go to school. She says, because you're the principal. It's crazy. So there's a lot of robberies out there, a lot of robberies. Subway restaurant was robbed the other day. I don't know if you heard about that. Yeah, Subway restaurant was robbed the other day. They caught the guy. He was before the judge. The judge says, you're going to jail for a long time. He says, why? He says, because your record's a foot long. Yeah, lots of robberies. Dwayne Reed was robbed the other day. The guy came in and stole all the Clearasil. You know Clearasil, clear up the pimples. When he was in the police station, the police sergeant was letting him go. He says, why are you letting me go? He says, because you don't have a blemish on your record. Clearasil. Before I leave you, I hope you had a great time. I'm sweating up here. Wow, imagine that. I tell you, they said, don't let them see you sweat. It's very embarrassing. 64 years old now. I don't look it, right? 64. I went to Social Security to get my card. When I got there, the lady behind the window said, you don't look 64. Can I please see some form of identification? I went, I left my wallet home. But look, I opened my shirt. I showed lots of gray hair on my chest. I says, I couldn't have gotten the gray hair unless I was 64. She said, you're so cute. I'm going to give you your Social Security card anyway. So she gave me my card. I got home, my girl's waiting for me. You dummy, you left your wallet here. I'm sure you didn't get your social security card. I said, yes, I did. I showed the gray hair on my chest, and they gave me my card. She says, wow, you should have dropped your pants too. You could have got disability. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show.